What's up, you guys? I have been away for a little while. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've vlogged, but I've just had a lot of stuff going on with my family. Yeah, so my uncle, in case you don't follow me on social media, my uncle passed away. It's been almost 2 weeks now. It was very sudden. None of us expected it. So it's just been a really difficult time and very emotional, and so it just has been more important for me to be there for my family than to be on social media and all of that. So, but I'm back. I'm kind of ready to get back into a swing of things, into some kind of rhythm and everything. So, yeah. So thanks for looking on the video today. I really appreciate it. I have a really passionate topic that I want to talk about, and yeah, so thanks for clicking, and let's get rolling on with the video.
Saying that it feels right.
Okay, so if you follow me on social media, you probably saw the post that I made yesterday about binge eating disorder. And I just wanted to clarify what that is, what it looks like, what an episode looks like, and all of that, because I think there's some misconceptions around what it is, and I just feel like it needs to be talked about, it needs to be addressed. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna read a little bit of, and I'll post the link below on nationaleatingdisorders.org if you want to look this up. But just quick little definition of what binge eating is. Binge eating disorder is one of the newest eating disorders formally recognized in the DSM-5. The formal diagnostic criteria are recurrent episodes of binge eating. An episode of binge eating is characterized by both of the following: eating in a discrete period of time within any 2-hour period an amount of food that is definitely larger than what most people would eat in a similar period of time under similar circumstances. A sense of lack of control over eating during the episode, e.g. a feeling that one cannot stop eating or control what or how much one is eating. The binge eating episodes are associated with 3 or more of the following: eating much more rapidly than normal, eating until feeling uncomfortably full, eating large amounts of food when not feeling physically hungry, eating alone because of feeling embarrassed by how much one is eating, feeling disgusted with oneself, depressed, or very guilty afterwards. So, basically, binge eating is the third eating disorder that people have. So you've got anorexia, where you're not eating or you're purging and that kind of thing. Then you've got bulimia, where you're eating but then you're purging afterwards. And then you've got binge eating disorder, where you're just eating. So there's not any purging going on. So I wanted to clarify that, because I think a lot of people think like, oh, like, are you throwing, like, what's going on? Like, are you throwing up too? Like, you know, I don't know. Like, there's just a misconception around what binge eating is. It strictly is you're eating an excessive amount of food in a short amount of time, and you're doing that consistently. And when I read this, it was amazing to me how much it resonated with what I was going through. And what I've realized with this particular disorder is that, or really with any disorder, is it's a control thing, and there's usually some emotional issue attached with it. So, for instance, like this past week was really difficult, or the past couple weeks has been really difficult with my family because of, you know, the sudden death of my uncle. So, because of that emotional situation, my natural instinct is to turn to food, and that's exactly what happened. And so I've noticed that it definitely happens more often when there's an emotional situation going on. And so, yeah, that's kind of where all this came from. And honestly, I feel like it's not really been a super big issue for me, and I've noticed it more so in the last year, but definitely in the last like 4 or 5 months, I've noticed that I've had these issues. And I've not really been able to like formulate words to describe this, because I feel like binge eating is not really thought of as an actual disorder. Like, I think people think like, oh, I just ate a little bit more than I'm used to today. Like, it's not that. Like, if you're doing this consistently and there is some kind of emotional stimulus prompting you to have these episodes, then it's a greater issue than just like eating a little bit more than you should. So I wanted to kind of explain what a typical episode looks like for me. And it's hard to share this because, you know, putting yourself out there ever is always difficult because you never know how people are going to react and, you know, all of that. Like, it's hard to put yourself out there. So I struggled with like wanting to do this video, but I decided that, you know what, there could be someone out there that has a similar situation and feels alone in this. So I am putting this out there to just advocate for those people as well. So what a typical binging episode looks like for me is like, for instance, there's an emotional situation that happened before or is happening, and so immediately my thought is food. Like, I want to eat all the food, everything, and it's usually not broccoli. Go figure. And so what happens is I'll start to think about like, okay, where can I get food? And so I know that my mom has a stash of candy and whatnot in her room. So I will go and raid her room and try to find candy, food, whatever she's got in there. And then I'll go in the kitchen and I'll just open up all the cabinets and just go, you know, I'll eat peanut butter and chocolate and chips and cereal and I don't know, cheese, like, I don't know, random stuff, whatever's in there. And I will just go at it. Like, and it's like, it's not even me that's doing it. It's like a different person, because in my head, I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, why am I doing this? But then once it's like my hands aren't connecting. Like, I just keep grabbing and going for more food. And so it's not, it's like an out-of-body experience is how I would describe it. And it's like after you do that for about 10 or 15 minutes, or I don't know, maybe probably closer to 10 minutes, maybe 15 occasionally, it's like you feel disgusting, like physically, mentally, emotionally, like you just, everything. You feel ashamed, embarrassed, disgusted, all of that. Like, you just feel like shit. Like, there's no other way to describe it. Like, you just feel horrible. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it goes. And that typically happens when there's not people around. So that's why my family's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't think you have this. I'm like, yeah, but you don't see me because I do it when you're not here. You know, it happens when people aren't around. And so, you know, that's why you know it's an issue. It's literally like this monster that you're trying to feed and you can't ever satisfy. You will never be able to satisfy it. But you think that like the more I eat, the more I consume, it'll make me feel better. It'll help. Like, I will feel better once I do this. But then you don't ever feel better. It never happens. It never happens. And I know that in my head, but it doesn't, it's like, I can't control it. And so, you know, a typical person can go out to eat or eat lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever, and they will eat until they're full. And then if there's leftovers, they won't eat it because they're not hungry. Like, they know when to stop. A typical person knows when to stop because they're full. A person with binge eating disorder doesn't know when to stop eating. You just continually eat, you eat it all, and then if you see someone else has food on their plate, then you want to eat theirs too. Like, why would you waste that? No, give it to me, I'll eat it. And a lot of times, like I said, this gets taken lightly and people just kind of like joke about it, but it really is an issue for someone with binge eating disorder. There is hunger signals, yes, but there are no signals going off when you're full. There's none. It's like you eat until it's gone, and then once it's gone, you know, you'll stop, but then there's still a part of me that's like, oh man, I still wish I had more. Like, I still want more. And so that is essentially how addictions start. You try to satisfy this craving that you have until you don't have it anymore, but it's always there. And so unfortunately, addiction does run in my family, and I've always was scared that like I would be addicted to alcohol, so I stayed away from alcohol. I didn't drink. I just let that be what it was over here, and I never touched alcohol. I didn't hang out with people that drank. Like, that was what I did throughout my life. And so I never realized that I was developing a monster with food, and it's essentially the same thing. Now, like I said in my post, it's tricky because you need food. Food is a necessity in life, but the moment you start to rely on food to fulfill something within you, you've taken it for what it is. You're not taking it for what it is. Food is food, and it can't satisfy emotional issues. And it's easier said, like, I know this, but like, it's easier said than done. Yeah, that's kind of I just wanted to share this because I feel like I know I'm not the only person that struggles with this. And so that's really all I have for today. I'm not gonna do any like recipes or workouts or anything. This is strictly just a more emotional health video, so mental health video. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope this cleared things up for people, because I know that there's some misconceptions around what binge eating disorder is. And of course, I've not been like formally diagnosed with this, but like I'm almost like self-diagnosing myself because all of those things describe exactly what I've done. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just say that this is what I have, and I'm putting a name on it essentially. I never knew that this was a thing until I looked this up. So like I said, I hope it was informative. I hope that, if someone else, if you know someone that struggles with this, like, please share this video. Please, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, share with me like issues that you may be having, or if you have a similar situation or anything. Like, I just feel like community is super important in these situations. Support is super important. And so, yeah, that's really all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you next week. Peace out, y'all.
Say that it feels right.